Good Thursday night football. Exciting NFC West matchup. Haven't heard that much this year, but this is probably the best game we're going to get the rest of the season. We have the San Francisco 49ers -3 at the Seattle Seahawks. Totals at 43 right now at DraftKings. This line has come down a little bit. Seahawks started at +3.5. You know who bet the Seahawks at +3.5? This idiot. Can't wait to get into it. Steph, what's your initial read on the game?
I am seriously, like I said kind of in the beginning, but just to get I'm surprised that everyone is just immediately on the Seahawks. I mean, maybe I'm wrong here. I think that people forget how dominant this 49ers defense is and that Seattle has really come back to earth. Like, they've joined us back down here. Like, the fairy tale, the pixie dust is kind of falling off of them at this point. And Geno's not playing as clean as he was. You look at him week 1 through 7, and he only threw 2 interceptions and then 5 interceptions after that. They're facing a fucking awesome defense. And, San Francisco's on a roll. I mean, you can make the argument, yes, Purdy is a little banged up. Again, I also get a little weary of injury reports at this point in the season. A lot of these teams are looking ahead to playoffs. They're focusing on what's in the future for them. It's his first road game. That's fine. I think Seattle's defense does him favors, though. They stink against the run. It's kind of a perfect situation for him. I like this to stay low scoring, too. What do you think?
So I'm torn here. There's a reason I bet Seattle at 3.5. I thought the hook was valuable. I don't know if I would rebet this at 3. I think the most likely outcome is this game finishes at 3 in the 49ers' favor. The number that I have in my head right now and the number that the market would suggest with the total of over 43 is that this game ends 23-20 San Francisco. 36% of the bets and 54% of the money is on Seattle in this situation. And to be honest, I understand the angle. The angle is it's kind of the science experiment. We saw week 1. It was great. Now you're on a short week. You've definitely never played on a short week before and had to prepare like a pro in 2 days. You have to go to Seattle, 12th man. So it's not only a road game, it's a vicious road game. That is one of the 3 hardest places to play on the road, especially in a night game, an island game. Very difficult for them to play. And then San Francisco is coming off of this injury. Jimmy G gets injured 2 weeks ago. Debo this week. Don't you think that they can just beat Seattle by keeping it simple? Put it on the ground, let McCaffrey and Jordan Mason win the game for them. You don't have to blow them out. And this defense is going to be absolutely shot. They've had 3 straight weeks of having to defend good teams. Now they're like, Seattle, whatever, we can just deal with it. I think that they think they can win this game close by running the ball, extend the game, and just get it done. So I don't think there's a motivation for them to come in here and blow them out. Meanwhile, Seattle has been on a really, really pathetic streak after losing Carolina last week at home. I think that they get right in this spot. And also, traditionally, Pete Carroll has performed really, really well against Kyle Shanahan. So in the NFC West, as our buddy Ryan Kramer says, the matrix of the NFC West, the flow chart, this is just Seattle's supposed to beat San Francisco. It's just the way it works. I don't know if they'll beat them, but I do like them to cover the +3.5. So
I kind of and this is probably like me being toxic, is like I like the chaos that will occur if Seattle does not win, because that starts to make things look a lot different for teams like the Vikings, for teams like the Giants, for teams like for like all these teams in the NFC. If Seattle loses tonight, now things are looking a little bit better or worse if you think about the Vikings. So it's an interesting game. I think that it might make a couple other games this week a little bit more interesting. I'm going to lean with San Francisco here, and it might be the wrong side. I think Seattle can stay in this game, so maybe they could probably cover, but I just don't see it.
All right, totally fair. No one loves San Francisco more than I do, and I think it's a little weird to bet against them at this point in the season, but I do think there's a case to be made in this situation that Seattle at 3.5 particularly has a lot of value. All right, let's get to some player props for tonight, and then we're also going to go through our favorite Daily Dozen pick. If you've never played Daily Dozen with us before, look below, use that code Daily Dozen for a free $12 deposit bonus. Play with us one time. You can turn $12 into $2,400 tonight if you go 12 for 12, but payouts start at 7 out of 12, right? Make that cash. Let's make some money together with Champions Round. All right, Thursday night props that you like. What's the number one that you want to bet tonight?
Oh, number one, I think all of these are kind of maybe a little bit even. Starting from the top, I think that George Kittle, this is, a great check down city type situation. I think that over 30.5, I know that's moved a little bit at -115. He's had 9 games versus the Seahawks in his career. He's averaging 62.4 per yards per game. I also like him to get in the end zone. So if you prefer that, his receptions are probably a safer bet than his yards, but I think that they use him plenty in this game. CMC, his receiving yards, that number's already come up. I bet it at 35.5, taking the over there at -120. And now it's up to 37.5, -115. I'm not surprised if that we see that move a little bit more too. He's gone over this in 3 of the 5 last games, and Seattle's defense is allowing league highest at 85.7% catch rate to running backs this season. And they're also allowing an average of 45 receiving yards per game to running backs. No Debo. CMC fits this bill perfectly to keep this trend going. So I like that as well. Maybe I'll let you jump in there before I run out of breath here.
So I love the McCaffrey angle, and for all my fantasy teams, I hope that he has a massive game, and it certainly sets up for him to have one. My concern with McCaffrey, in terms of a yardage one, like I prefer to play him on a touchdown, and actually the receiving ones might make a lot of sense, but it's 78.5 rushing yards tonight. I'm a little concerned that they're going to be like, you know what? This game really doesn't matter to us. Let's stash McCaffrey a little bit. Let's not run him through the tackles as much, which is why my favorite prop of the night, if you can find it anywhere, Jordan Mason over 26.5 rushing yards. I think they're going to utilize him in a big way tonight. I would not be surprised to see him get 10-plus carries tonight. So any Jordan Mason prop that you can find, that's going to be the angle that I'm going to try and play tonight. Also, Jordan Mason anytime touchdown plus 275. Lock that one in.
Oh, I like it. You know what kind of game it seems like for me? I don't know why. I just woke up this morning and I'm like, it's a Juwan Jennings game. Like, I just know it. It's just that's the game that it's going to go. So 25.5 receiving yards, pretty low for a guy. He's only gone over this 5 times this season. Not that exciting. 2 of the last 3, though, a little bit more involved. -125. I kind of like it. I don't know what his TD odds are there. That touchdown odds were not great on this game, but I like Jennings. That's more of like a gut call. Also, Will Dissly, this number feels maybe like a trap because I'm not really sure why it's set so low. It's sitting there 14.5 receiving yards. I like the over. He's gone over this 6 of the last 7. Normally I would fade heavy trends like this, but he is consistently like 2 receptions for 4 straight games. Like, they are looking to him quietly. He's consistently involved enough where he goes over this and with enough comfort for me to take the over.
All right. I kind of like that one as well. All right. We're going to go through our daily dozen props really quickly, and Steph is going to pick out which one she thinks is the dad of the slate. All right. Total points, 43.5. I know you like the under there, but maybe not enough to lock it in all the way. San Francisco total points, 23.5. Seattle total points, 20.5. Now we get to the player prop section. Brock Purdy passing yards, 200.5. Geno Smith, 1.5 touchdown passes. Christian McCaffrey, 78.5 rushing yards. I mentioned I kind of like the under on that one. Rushing yards for Kenneth Walker, 49.5. Again, I kind of like the under because I'm not sure that he's actually going to play that much. And his last couple games going back, he has not been successful at all. Brandon Ayuk, receiving yards, 48.5. Tyler Lockett, receiving yards, 60.5. DK Metcalf, receptions, 5.5. George Kittle, receptions, 3.5. And then Christian McCaffrey, anytime touchdown, 0.5. What's the lock on the slate?
These are like some great lines there. I don't know how I feel about Ayuk. I am leaning towards actually like fading him. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. I think that it's a very easy click because Debo's out, but I think that there's more options on this team, especially if, Brock is hurt. I don't know if they're going to be airmailing it that much. CMC, anytime touchdown, probably the safest. Like I said, too, I like the Kittle. His receptions, I think he can easily go over this, too. I think he gets 4 tonight. I think I like the under CMC, though. I think that might be my favorite tonight.
All right, so the lock of the day, the dad of the day, rushing yards under for Christian McCaffrey, 78.5. But we also do like the touchdown over. We think it'll be a big game through the air for him. They will not run him through the tackles as much. Again, Jordan Mason, play those player props if you can find them.